Well, my next project is a 1961 Austin-Healey Bugeye Sprite. It's actually the Mach 1, the first model that they came out with. And it's a fairly simple car in that it doesn't have roll-up windows or anything in the doors. And of course all of this needs to be repaired and replaced and all that good stuff. So on and so forth. A lot of rust. A lot of fabrication needed. Fortunately, these cars rust all in about the same location, so there's patch panels available online to repair all this rust. The engine looks really good. It looks like someone has already been into it once. Of course, we'll tear it all apart, check it all out, put new gaskets and bearings and rings in it, and put it all back together again. There's a few pieces on the car that will not be able to be restored. One is the fuel tank. It has a big rusted hole in the bottom of it, and there is companies online that sell brand new fuel tanks for this particular model car. Yeah, the windshield's in really good shape. It looks like it's the original wind glass. I will buy some new molding for it, of course, and polish out the aluminum frame on it. I'll probably have another 2,000 in it, depending upon the motor. If the motor's in good shape, not that much. If I have to do a total rebuild on the engine, we're another 1,000 on that. So it could be between 2,000 and 3,000 to finish the car. I bought it off of eBay for $2,100. I think I got a good deal on it, although it is going to require a lot of sheet metal fabrication. But fortunately for these cars, they are very, very popular, and there's a lot of manufacturers that still make parts for these cars. The body will be the last thing we restore due to the winter. We'll probably start on some of the mechanicals like the engine and transmission, and then start working on suspension parts. So when the body is complete, maybe by the end of summer, we'll be able to start putting it back together. I've decided to go ahead and start on the mechanicals first. And the first task today was to take the transmission apart and see how much that's going to cost to rebuild. The manual transmissions are pretty simple. You just have to take your time and be patient with them, because oftentimes they don't go together like they came apart, and that's the case with this unit. I have taken these apart in the past, but it's been 30 years since that's happened. Someone's painted the back end of the transmission. Original Austin-Healey green, but you got to have the aluminum show through. Even though after this is put in the car, the only people seeing this is someone jumping underneath it. But it's going to look really nice when I'm done. It's going to look professional. These are the shifting forks. Yeah, if you're not confident to do it yourself, you can buy these transmissions already rebuilt. But I want to say they're around $1,000. So by doing this all myself, I'll be in this thing maybe $100 in parts at most, and a few hours of my time. But it never hurts to try to tackle it on your own. The worst that can happen is you got to go buy another transmission. So if I goober it up and couldn't put it back together, I'd be back looking at getting another transmission. But I am confident I can do it and put it back together and have it working maybe in another 3 to 4 weeks. Of course, the holiday season is going to tamper that down a little bit, but we'll be able to get it fixed and put it back together here in a few weeks, and then start on some other components, which I can't wait to do. That one's worn a little bit. This should be a sign of wear. A lot of wear and stuff. The lay gear assembly, which is the most expensive part of the transmission, is in very good shape, and I have no doubt I'll be able to reuse it. That's a savings of a few $100s just for that. The other shafts look like they're in very good shape. Shifting forks don't look like they have much wear. So obviously someone has been in it, replaced some parts down the road, and I'm the beneficiary of that, which is quite nice. The help of Super Purple parts cleaner actually helps degrease the parts, and then you hose them off, and then of course wire brush the case with brass wire brush wheel to remove any of the other paint and to make it look original without painting it a silver. What? Took about 2.5 hours to reassemble. The little glitches from ball bearings falling on the floor and looking for them. Other than that, everything fit together real well, and this thing should last 10 or 15 years the way I'm going to drive it. One of the more difficult parts was when I was reassembling it. I pushed the synchro cluster too far and all the springs fell out, and it was troublesome finding the ball bearings and then putting it back together. There we go. God damn it! Now there's manuals that you can get online, and it did help me in just the sequence of the gears, putting it back together, and it all came back. I did test fit quite a few times just to make sure everything fit well. And this transmission is completely redone now. It no doubt will last years and years and years. Everything is a nice tight fit. There's no loose components, nothing's worn out. Obviously somebody has rebuilt this in previous time, which of course I benefit from because I didn't have to replace everything in the transmission. This is third and fourth gear and first and second gear. So you move that in. That's fourth gear right now. See, it's pretty much 1-to-1. Boise State. So there are some components I still need to buy to finish the external part of the transmission. I need to buy the slave cylinder and of course redo the stick shift that goes into the top half here. Starting next, we'll start taking some of the components of the engine apart and fixing them. Try to get all the mechanicals done hopefully by the end of January, and then work on some suspension parts so that when spring comes by we can start working on some sheet metal on the body. I'm into this transmission right now. With some of the parts I have to return, it didn't fit quite right. I'm in about $140 on this transmission. Well, this transmission was good enough. I could have just put it in a car and ran it. It didn't have to be rebuilt. But I didn't know that until you take it apart and find out. And too much work's going into this thing just to rely on someone saying that it's in good shape. So I didn't absolutely have to take it apart, but I feel real confident now that I did, that we'll get many, many years out of this transmission. So having finished the transmission, now we get to start working on the fun stuff, parts from the engine. And today I decided to go ahead and take apart the starter and the generator. Of course, both look like they're in working condition, but you don't know that again. So I've already ordered brushes and bearings for the shafts. We have a local generator shop here in town, and I'll take it down and have them check out the components and make sure everything is good to reassemble. Some of the bearings are a little dry for the car sitting. I don't know how long it has sat. The last registration on the car was 1996, so my guess is it's been sitting for quite a while. And of course, things are dry, and we'll get everything put back together again in good working condition and start on the motor here fairly soon. Now, I can buy brand new product, and this new starter today runs about $138. A generator, you're probably close to that, $100. Of course, this has the tap drive on the back side, which is still in working condition, but I'll probably be in these things maybe 15 or 20 bucks a piece. Save myself at least $100 each by taking them apart and cleaning them up. After searching the internet for powder coating equipment, the least expensive with the best views was still the Harbor Freight Tools powder coating system, and got it on sale, was $59. Then the next thing was I had to find an oven, and someone discarded this old RV oven out of an RV, and it works perfect for this application. It's got a big enough cavity in there that I can do some fairly sizable parts. When you buy the powder coating equipment and the powder, it comes with instructions at what temperature to bake and how long to bake it at. So if you have any questions about that, you just read the instructions on the powder coating label. This system is extremely easy to operate. You do have to make sure that you de-energize the gun before you touch the parts, or you could get a little shock. But it takes just a few moments. As long as the parts are really clean, the powder coating operation is very simple to use. Couple of days we've dismantled the engine. Glad to say that it has never been tampered with before or rebuilt. It's all standard bearings and pistons. So at this point right now, we'll send it down to a machine shop and get it hot tanked and measure the bore and see how much wear. It looks like we'll probably have to bore it out and turn the crank, especially. The crank's got a little bit of wear in it. Camshaft looks good. No, we won't need to do that. Of course, I've already started to make my parts list on new parts that we need to put the motor back together. Overall, I think with the machining, we'll probably be back in this motor about $700 when we get it all done. The head has been redone once, and of course we'll send that to the shop too to make sure it's got the new style hardened valves and seats for the unleaded fuel that we run in the cars today. But this is a keeper, and normally with all the cars I have, this car will probably never see more than a couple thousand miles a year, so this will probably be the first and last time we'll ever need to rebuild this motor. After a week or so of not doing much, I was able to come down today and use the company's Sandblast booth to sandblast a bunch of the front suspension parts. We've got the machine at the motor at this time at the machine shop, so I've got nothing more really to do other than work on some other smaller components. Due to time constraints, some of the stuff was disassembled off the camera, but it will certainly be there when we reassemble the parts. In order to get good adhesion on the powder coating, it's necessary to blast the surface to give the powder coating something to adhere to. And so that's why we blasted the parts, plus to remove most of the surface rust that was on the parts. This car came from Honolulu, Hawaii, and obviously was out in a lot of rain. The parts looked really good. There's no rusted holes and no structure was compromised on most of the parts. So I blasted them, and now we'll get ready to start cleaning and powder coating here very shortly. Well, you know, the weather outside's still cold, so we've decided just to stay inside and still play with the powder coating. And I've learned a lot in the last couple of weeks. One is that you can't have too much pressure in the gun. It just blows the powder everywhere. It's best with a lower pressure. And we've started doing a lot of that. Haven't finished the project yet. We still have got a lot of parts and pieces being cleaned and assembly. The kits are here for the front end assembly. But I have to press out the bushings and then ream them on the spindles. And then the lower A-arm bushings are also worn for the fulcrum pin. And I have found a company called Apple Hydraulics back in New York who has sold me the fulcrum pin bushings. Later this week, I'll be taking the lower A-arms to my shop and using a torch to hopefully melt off the silver solder that holds them in place and reinstall the new fulcrum pin bushing so I can powder coat the lower A-arms. Of course, if I screw them up, I can always buy new ones, but I've got to try it myself anyway.
I thought they were the same size.
Guess what doesn't get powder coated right now?
Not well.
I soaked the head in super purple for a day just to break up some of the rust, and then taking off the thermostat housing, I managed to break a bolt in the head, so I've got to take that off. Other than that, the head has been redone recently. There's not much wear on the valves at all. I think what I'm going to be doing here is probably going ahead and just cleaning the valves up like I did and relapping them in and then reassemble the head. You can kind of see right here the knurl on those. This has actually been to a machine shop, and they closed the seat and then relined it for the valve. So this is in really good shape. It just now needs to be cleaned up. Probably send it to the shop maybe for resurfacing, just so we have a good seal. Other than that, this is gonna save us a lot of money not having to rework the head or replace it. Still have a lot of cleaning to do, of course. but that won't take long to get that taken care of. And then the valves reinserted. And as for the block, I haven't sent the block to the machine shop yet. It will go probably sometime later this week, but the crankshaft is back. Hopefully within the next month I'll be able to start reassembling the engine. Obviously that's a new one. The engine might be the last thing that goes back together, because I got to send that to a machine shop. But the rear axle, I want to take it apart and clean it up and powder coat it and get all that ready to go, because that's not a lot of money. And then I got the front rack and pinion steering to put together. Actually take it apart and clean it up and rebuild it. And then after that, dude, when this thing gets painted, maybe by the end of summer, we'll put all of those components back on. We'll have a full rolling chassis back and forth out of the garage. Right? It's gonna be dead, man. It's gonna be awesome. This will be the last piece I restore. Will be the hood. Because I can buy, if that one is toast, I can buy another one. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So almost like the Bug in a sense, that will be the last piece that I restore. And then, because I can drive this thing back and forth in the garage without this hood on it. And it'll just be, wow, I just can't wait. I can't wait. A couple of days ago we were able to finish the starter and the generator. Turns out they really didn't need to be rebuilt. I could have used them as they were, but you just never know. I took the stator windings off the housings before powder coating, and I re-wrapped them and resprayed them with an electrical varnish to keep them from shorting out down the road. So I ordered new brushes, took the armatures down to a local shop and had them turned, and I powder coated the housings. Seeing the old brushes and the new brushes. That's the old brush and this is the new one. Not a whole lot of difference in the wear. Probably didn't need to go buy new ones, but that's the tachometer. This drives, no. Oh, wait. Yeah. This drives this, which is the tachometer, via a cable that goes in here down to here. They went together real well. I'm happy to say, and can't wait to try them out here soon. So as we continue this the Bugeye project, we're still cleaning. I'm still cleaning parts and powder coating. And the recent ones we just recently powder coated the springs. They came out very nice. And I've got the bushings now to rebuild the lower A-arm assemblies. I'm going to be replacing these here very shortly. And then we'll powder coat this after it's complete. Once we get that done, then we can start reassembling all of the components that we've got in our kit and rebuilding the frame. Once all of these parts are done and the weather warms up, then we'll be taking the body, mounting it up on some type of a rotisserie setup, and start redoing some of the sheet metal work. So tonight we finished the rack and pinion steering gear. After I took it apart, everything seemed to fit real well. There's no play in the rack or the pinion gear. Most of it was in really nice condition. I did look at the inner tie rods. There's no play, so I decided not to try to break them loose. I did replace the outer tie rods with some new tie rods, and the boots, of course, are all new. Cleaned and powder coated, and we're ready to reassemble. We reassembled, and everything fits really well. So the steering column is now done, and we move on to some other good things like the lower control arm bushings. Today we were able to finish the SU carburetors. These are not original to this car. These came off of a 1275 engine, simply because of the number, the serial number on the carburetors. But they're still the same, and we'll see how they run. We may have to change the needle in there if it's too rich when we start running the engine. Took about 3.5 hours to polish the carburetors up and clean them. Got new kits, got new needles in the bottom, and got some new oil to go in the tops for the dampers. But we'll wait till we get them installed on the engine. Right now everything looks good, and I can't wait to get the motors assembled so we can put these carburetors back on. The weather's still a little cold outside, so we decided to continue to rebuild some of the components, and today I went down to our local auto parts store, and they carried the universal joints for the driveline, and purchased them and put them in place after the powder coating was done, and it turned out really nice. So another component done, ready for assembly in the car. After that, we're going to start working on the shocks. I've already cleaned one up, taken it apart and cleaned it up, and it doesn't have oil in it yet, but I did test it with some oil, and it seems to work really well. So hopefully we'll do the same with this one. Of course, they're dry right now, and we're going to clean them up and then re-energize them again so that they're in working condition. There's no play in the shaft, so I'll be able to reuse this again. I did go down and we cleaned up the blades. We'll be powder coating this safety yellow. Of course, these are spinning, so it'll look really nice on the motor when they're done. So today we finished assembling the rear axle housing, and we took it all apart. Sent it down for powder coating, got it powder coated, and was able to powder coat the small parts ourselves. put all new seals in it. After thoroughly inspecting it, it didn't need any new ring and pinion gears. I did put a new pinion seal in it, new axle half seals, and then of course just cleaned everything up. So we're good to go. It looks like new. It'll be looking this good for years to come.